This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Clearlines training session. I am your host, Kipp Cohen. Today is Wednesday, the 16th of January, 2019. And I am here for about the next hour to go through the Clearlines indicator running on the Medved Trader platform. Here to answer any of your specific questions and cover anything you feel that we need to cover. We'll go through and look at different aspects of the Medved Trader platform and pretty much cover whatever you feel is most important for you. Let's see. David says, thank you for training yesterday. It was especially helpful that you posted it to YouTube. That enabled me to spend today starting and stopping it to get the charts set up just right. Although I started with WiseTrade in 2003, I haven't been active for the past 5 years, and this new platform is considerably more sophisticated. It'll take me a little time to get up to speed, but when I do, I see so much potential here. I can't wait. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so far everybody's pretty much loving the new platform. I have not had any complaints. I had a couple people early on that thought it was a little too much for them because they were used to something very simplistic. But for the most part, everybody's finding it actually a lot better than the old WiseTrade, and loves my red and green lines, my clear lines, especially with the up and down arrows, and of course all the additional functionality that comes with the Medved platform. And you know, it is something that you can make as simple as you want, or you can make it as complex, depending on what you need, what your personal needs are. I have AD&T up because earlier we had a great rollover right here at the top, and a lot of traders in our Equity Dash Alerts chat room shorted it right up in the 18 teens. And, you know, it was a clear signal on the software. They saw it in the charts. And, you know, we threw in some additional technicals that also helped with the trade, but several of our users enjoyed some nice trading profits on AD&T this afternoon. Let's see. David says, I'm still not able to left click on the chart to open trade. Is there something I need to do that will enable it? You don't left click, you right click. Right clicking on the chart is what opens. Left click will not do anything except if you left click and then start typing on your chart, that's what's going to allow you to enter a symbol. Yeah, there's no chart left click functionality. It's all right click. Right click will open up this window, which will allow you to buy or sell. You can add edit indicators from the right click functionality. You can backfill. You can view a historical chart. So if you are, let's say you're on a layout that only has minute charts, okay? And I have one of those layouts. So I'm going to go to that. I'm going to go to load layout to my new popper dropper. Okay. Now you won't see a couple of my charts because they're off on another screen, but you'll see 4 of my charts: 2 upper, 2 lower, 1 in 3 minute, 1 in 3 minute. Whoops. So if I feel like I need to view the long-term trend or the daily chart of Facebook from this window or this window, the right or left window, either one, I can right-click my mouse and select historical chart. And then I can open that up, expand it. I can move it off to another window if I have multiple monitors. I can switch it. I can go to main and go to frequency and go to the weekly chart. Or if I want to go to the monthly chart, I can go to the monthly, which would be like the old long-term trend. Or I can go further than that. I can go out to a quarterly chart, and there's even a yearly chart. All right. But let's go with the daily. Okay, I can scroll backwards to go back in time, or I can increase the number of periods. I can also grab, see this slide bar right here? I can grab the left edge when you see that little double, that line with the double arrow. If you hold your mouse button down, you can expand it and stretch it in and out. And you'll see where it says period up in the top, it'll tell you how many periods you're adjusting to. See, it says 502, 439, 291, 108, 55. So by grabbing that, you can adjust it, or you can adjust it here, and you can go to custom, and you can say, I just want 50 bars or 20 bars. If you only want 20 bars, I can go 20 bars. If I want less history, right? So you can change. It's really cool. You couldn't do this with WiseTrade. You can do this with Medved. You can open up and expand. And you have the same right-click functionality on this chart as well. You can open up an intraday chart instead of a historical. From a historical, you can open up an intraday. From an intraday, you can open up a historical. You can also, there's other things you can do from here. You can trade. That'll open up a trade ticket. If you want level 2 quotes, if you have access to level 2 through your broker, you can view the level 2. The DOM, which I don't even know what that is. That's I forget what that stands for. Anybody know what the order DOM is? I don't even know. Depth of market. Sorry, depth of market. Yeah, it's depth of market. So it's kind of like level 2. You see where the buy and sell orders are sitting at. Depth of market. Depth chart. I don't use any of this. If you want news for Facebook, you can pull up the news for Facebook. All from the right-click functionality. Option chain, if you're an option trader, you can get the options. Calls, puts, or both calls inputs. List by calendar, strike, vertical spreads, calendar spreads, straddle, strangles by rights. Research, I don't know what that, I guess that comes from Yahoo. Just general information, statistics from Yahoo. raw data. That'll be all of the, I guess those are all the trades going through. All the quote data. And then there's historical data. That would be the each day open, high, low, close, and the volume. So there's a lot of functionality. You can print a chart. You can share a chart. If you want to share a chart, you can email it, or you can send it by text or by Twitter, or you can save it to your clipboard or save it as a file. So if you like to journal your trades, you can do that using the save or sharing function. If you want to add an alert for Facebook, you can add an alert. If you want a price alert, price above or below, price crossing up or down, daily high low. There's all kinds of different news alerts. If there's a news, you can set it up to give you a notification when there's a news on the stock. And sometimes you may get a spike on your chart. You can remove that by deleting high or low points on a chart. If you see an odd candle, you can do that as well. So again, there is a tremendous amount of functionality. Just remember that.
Would you repeat that?
Oops. Sorry, I'm going to mute. Each chart is independent. Okay, so if I close that one, if I go over here to GS, then I can pull the data for GS. If I do it from here, I'm getting it for Facebook. But it's going to be, if I share, it's going to be strictly the chart that I'm on. Whichever chart you're on, when you right click, that's what you're accessing. It looks like we're getting a little bit of a rollover here on Goldman Sachs. We've got a 1 minute that's rolled over and given a red arrow, but the 3 minute has not done it yet. So let's say we want to, let's say we can't keep a close eye on it, but we want to be alerted if it drops below 196.60, okay? I can go to draw, alert line, and then I can draw that line. If I want it to be a little more accurate, I can edit the alert. Okay, but when it crosses that trend line, down that trend line, I'll get a notification. I can even have it play a sound. Oh, see, it just that popped up. It gave an alert because it crossed through that line. See, it just broke through that line. So look at that. There's even a trade button here. If I want to trade it, I could enter a ticket. Let's say I wanted to short 200 shares at a market, sell. Whoops, short, sorry. I hit the wrong button. There we go. So now I'm in GS. We can go to the chart and see that the order was filled. Probably was a little bit late. We want to remove that line. Now, if I want to set my stop, I can come over to this window to place my stop because I have my stop here and my entry over here. So now I go to this window and I would be putting a buy order. So I can do it by clicking there and moving up and down on the chart to decide. Or if I want to hit the escape key, that order will go away. If I want to do a bracket order, I can do a bracket order. Or if I want to right click on the chart and put a buy ticket in, I can do it through that. Buy stop tells me the order type. Let's do a bracket. And let's take it a step further. I'm going to fib the first 15-minute time frame. We did an exercise like this yesterday, so we actually have extended beyond the 4236. So we actually should fib the first 30 minutes now. Whoops. Since we've extended past the first 15, so I'm going to go to a 30-minute. Whoops. Need to click Fibonacci. So interestingly, we're right at the 2618 of the first 30-minute. Of course, now it's bounced way up. So let's go to our, I mean, obviously with the market up 200 points, that does present some challenges. If the market was pulling back, I would have some confidence that it could come back down potentially to this. I mean, that's an awful long, far away ways, but the 1618 and VWAP is right at 192.40. Chances that that's going to happen on a day like this are probably pretty slim because the market is really strong. Okay. Could it go to this fib level at 194? That's possible. So 194 from 2.5 points. I mean, it bounced off it a couple of times. I'd have to. I mean, it's doable. So let's do this. Let's bracket it. Let's place a bracket, and it's going to be a buy order. And we're going to put our stop up above 197. I'm going to go to 197.30. I'm willing to risk, or 29. I'm willing to risk 80 cents for the opportunity to make $1.50. 2.5, sorry. 2.5 points. If it comes back down. It doesn't look like it's going to happen because it's so strong. But let's set our bracket. And then we'll see what happens. It's going to come hit it. It just hit it, of course. Well, it ended up being a poor example, but that was a bad trade. That was a loser. Goldman has been pretty strong today. And I got faked out. Well, and I actually did not have my 3-minute, had not given me a down arrow. I had a down arrow on the 1, and I had not received it on the 3 yet. See, and the 3 now has another up arrow. So I jumped the gun on that trade. But again, that was for example purposes. If I want to remove my Fibonacci levels, I can remove it by either putting my mouse over the line or the data and then clicking that X to delete it, or I can go to draw and hit the clear button. Now that's going to clear, if I hit it up here, it's going to clear all annotations, or I can go down here and select clear Fibonacci retracement. And it'll only remove the Fibonacci's and not the, if I've drawn any trend lines. Are there any specific questions? Anything specifically that you guys want to look at right now? David, were you able to figure out how to get the pop-up to occur? You were right-clicking, not left-clicking. Did that work for you? Okay, good. All right, I'm going to change my layout again. I'm going to go to a two-chart layout. And I'm going to show you how to convert this to a four-chart layout. So let's say I want to be able to see four charts of the same stock. Okay. So what I can do is move this down, and then I click Main, New Chart, same as this chart, and I slide it right here. Actually, we're going to try to get it pretty equal. Okay. And we're going to slide it right there. We're going to pick this to be my 1 minute. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do Main, New Chart, same as this chart. We're going to slide that one up here. We'll leave that as a 3, and then we'll make this a 15-minute. So now we have a four-chart layout where we have a 1 minute in the top left, a 3 minute in the top right, a 15-minute in the bottom left, and a historical chart on the bottom right, which could be a day, week, or month, whichever you decide you want it to be. Once you've created your layout and you're comfortable with it, then you want to save it. So File, Save Layout, and then you want to name it. Four chart layout. Or I'm going to call this new four chart layout because I already have one called four chart layout. This is my new four chart layout. It utilizes the same upper portfolios that I already had from my prior chart. It's got pivot points. You know what? I don't see pivots on these two charts, so I don't think. Let me see. No, it's got pivots. You know what? It may not be able to see it. Hold on. Why are we not seeing the pivots? Oh, there it is. It's just because of where it's located. All right. Pivots are there. By the way, you can put your mouse over the numbers, hold down the left button, and you can squeeze to open and shrink the chart. You can do that by holding down your left mouse button over the price data. Now, if I want to add my VWAP, let's say I want it just on the 3-minute, I can add it there. If there's another indicator I want to use, I can add it to a different chart. If I want to show my candlesticks, I can turn them on or off. Kind of like this without candles. Looks like Facebook is rolling over. You will need on your 15-minute, if you want to draw Fibonacci, you will have to show candlesticks to be able to see the high and low. So I can click to show uncheck the hide primary, go to my Fibonacci, and then draw my first 15-minute. Now I can see where my fib levels are. Interesting that Facebook just went to the volume weighted average price, just hit VWAP. It's a good thing we had a stop in because Goldman continued higher. Actually, this morning, Stephen Bilby had a trade on Goldman, and he noticed that there was let me blow up this chart. He noticed this trend line right in here. Let me draw it for you. He noticed these highs across here. And he saw in the pre-market, because he was showing pre-market data. So there's Bruce, there's the 15-minute on 50 intervals, if that's easier for you to see. But he saw that in the pre-market, and let me show you how to do that. Under view, extended hours, if you go default, that's going to be always. So he saw that this morning in the pre-market, and let me go back, hold on. Okay. In the pre-market, he saw that Goldman early on, actually this was after hours yesterday, was on that trend line, and then this morning it broke it. And he was looking at he was looking at multiple time frames using clear lines. And he saw on his multiple time frames that basically he was getting up arrows in the pre-market, and that Goldman was breaking out. He took a long trade early today and picked up 4 points on it, based on the fact that he saw multiple arrows early, multiple arrows, and whoops, the breakout from the pre-market. So you can utilize multiple time frames to help you see when something is in a true breakout, like he saw this morning. Again, that's a feature you could not do with WiseTrade. You couldn't show pre-market data. Now, if I just want to see today's data, not every day, I could just set it to current day. So I'll get this morning, but not yesterday. But again, you can see this morning that it had some momentum, and then that momentum carried through the rest of the day. And you know, watching multiple time frames, here's a 30-minute, you would have seen that solid momentum this morning. Bruce says, I really like the 50 bar. Yeah, the 50 bar is very similar to the old WiseTrade. And you can switch. Here's what I tell everybody. Use what you're comfortable with, okay? Pick and choose what works best for you. Now, I want to show you something real quick that you may run into. You'll notice where I put the order in, it's this line and price is below the red and green lines, okay? Because remember, the red and green lines are not price charts. They're buying and selling pressure, buying and selling momentum. So sometimes the price gets above or below those charts. Now, if you view the price charts behind it, then you can see, oh, there it is. I can see price now. That's why I like the price charts, because even though I know where the price is because it shows me right here in yellow, it's a little awkward for me visually. I prefer to see it. I prefer to see the price with the candlestick. So we now have our 1 and our 3-minute arrows pointing down. And obviously this is starting to pick up some momentum. So I jumped the gun a little earlier, but it's now starting to work. You'll notice this right here, this red bar on the right side of the chart. Each chart on the intraday has one of these. This is called pressure. And this is something that actually Medved Trader has. The great thing is if you're not sure of what something is, and I thought if you put your mouse over it, it told you, but there's a lot of great stuff in their tutorial, which is under if you click where it says help. They have a lot of information here, features on the charts. So opening a chart, changing chart symbol, period, frequency, time frames, colors, navigation, annotation, indicators. So miscellaneous. Under miscellaneous, you'll notice there's a couple things. So this candle countdown right here. Let me move this off to the side. That's, let me put it on the chart. Hold on. Main, view, options, candle countdown. That's this right here. So that tells you what time frame you're on and how much time is left in it. if you have that view option candle countdown, okay? View, oops, view option candle countdown. So you'll see on the candle what time frame you're on and how much time is left in that interval. There is also view options pace. Pace has to do with volume. Okay. So let me bring this back over here. Pace. Pace, like candle countdown, it shows up as a small box on the chart that can be moved and dragged anywhere. What it shows is that it's the pace. I'm sorry, it's the pace of trading. It's the pace of trading. You can set the pace parameters by right-clicking. So it could be all chart data, the last day, the last 2 hours. The last 2 hours. You can adjust the pace. You can make it go back further periods or go less periods. So it's the pace of trading. So when the number's high, it's high momentum, high pace, and then this is a pressure right here. This measures pressure, and you'll see the pressure is shown on the right of the chart as a vertical bar. It shows how many of the last 30 trades went off at the bid versus the ask. If more went off at the bid, that shows selling pressure, and the bar would be red. If more at the ask, it would be green. The size of the bar depends on the relative difference between the buying and selling of trades. So you can, by viewing the pace and the pressure for each time frame, you can kind of gauge how the momentum is for that stock. By watching the pace and seeing the pressure. You can't do pace and pressure for a historical. It has to be only an intraday chart. Would you use that to time your entry? I think it's helpful, yes, David, when you're looking at entering a trade and you notice, like, if you're trying to go long and it's pushing green and you see a lot of up momentum and the pace is solid and the pressure is solid your direction, yeah. Or like if you're shorting and you're starting to see it push red, I think that it can help you when timing your entry. I like it personally. I like the pace and the pressure, and you throw that on top with the charts. It just kind of adds to the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. Let's go ahead and let's put our stop. Oops. Stop. I'm just going to put it basically break even for now. See if we get some selling momentum here at the close. Let's do our Fibonacci on Goldman. We had it, but we took it off. I think, oh, we have to do the first 30 minute. Did we blow out the first 30? Maybe we didn't do it for Goldman. Oh, that's pre-market. No wonder. There you go. There's the first 30. I was looking at the end of the day. Goldman's been pretty strong today. I'm not thinking we're going to get much of a pullback. Would have been nice to get one, but it's pretty solid today. But we still have our down on the 3 minute. Still looks good. The 1 is kind of going back and forth. And the 15, let's go back to the 15. We don't quite yet have it. That would be, look at this. We have not had a single down arrow on the 15 minute today on Goldman. It's been all up, 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 up. No down arrows on the 15. If you like some of the, remember we used to use an 8 minute time frame. You can definitely pick custom time frame. We want to go to an 8. We go to custom, select 8. So now we can look at the 8 minute. We just got a red arrow on the 8 minute, but it hasn't completed yet, so it could undo itself. Till that interval completes, it could be false. Let's look at a 10 and see if that gives us any. Same thing on the 10. We have it on the 10 as well. There's another feature I don't know if I've shared with you guys yet, but you can also do less than a minute if you're really like into hyperactive trading. So if you wanted a 30-second time frame, go to frequency, custom, and just put 0.5. That's half a minute. So now we have a 30-second time frame. But I assure you, the 30-second will drive you crazy. You can put a 15-second. It would be a quarter of a minute, 0.25. Again, if you're a real super active spazzy trader, you can look how that thing just ripped higher. What else? Is there anything specific any of you would like to see? Anything specific? Frank or Dinkar, any of you guys? I know those of you that are users, is there something specific you'd like me to show you? Because really that's what I want to do is I want to help if you have specific questions. I mean, there's so much here we can go through. I just would like to show whatever you guys are specifically looking at or need help with. Let's do this. Let's spend a little bit of time on the portfolios, okay? So portfolios, there are basically two different types. There's either a watch list or a portfolio. So when I go, let's go create a new one. You have a choice, new simple portfolio or new watch list. So if I click new simple portfolio, the format's a little bit different. You're going to notice that it's in a long format like this. So add symbols. I can start typing here. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, NVDA, Baba, Tesla. Okay. So it puts it in this format right here. All these columns you can customize. You can add or remove columns by putting your mouse over the top, right-clicking, go to column chooser. You can pick whatever you want. I personally don't like to use this format. So if you go to view, you can select right here the different displays. There's one called Tile Simple, which is not one that I use. There's Tile Simple 2. That's the one I use. That gives the symbol, the up or down ticks, the last price, the gain or loss, and the last trade time. There's also a tile box. There is a tile with a chart. If you want a little mini chart. And right here, you'll see what chart period you can select. If you want it 10 minutes, or you want a little mini daily charts, you can put little mini daily charts. And this is another version of that one. So you can pick and choose how you view your data. And what you put in it. And that's under the view button. And then you can name it. Hold on. Well, right now it's called New Portfolio is the name. So hold on, let me. I have to click here, Edit Portfolio. New Portfolio, I change it here to call it My Portfolio. Now that changes the name. Now it's called My Portfolio. And then once I close it, it'll go away, but it'll still be in the portfolios. Now, if I want to link it so that I want it to link to these charts, then I go to this little symbol linking group and I select the blue, because that's what these are all, blue. And then when I click, it's gonna switch it to that chart, to Facebook. And then I can close it and it goes away. So let's go back. So you get to that by going to the dashboard. Now I can go to open a portfolio, and there is my portfolio, the one that I just created. If I want to add an index view, I can show the index panel on here as well. But as you can see above, I have two separate, one is an index window, one is basically a symbol window. Going back to the portfolios, and if I want to edit, I can go through each one of my portfolios and I can click on them on the left side or watch list. If it's this format, like right you see here, it's a watch list. If it's this format like this, it's a portfolio. Now, if the reason there's a portfolio format, I can come in here and I can put, all right, 1,000 paid 23, and I can put the date. Let's say I bought it back in February 2015 for $23. So now in my portfolio, hold on, I think view, it shows that position. Here it is right here, 100 shares, $23. So this is how, if you have stocks that you already own and you want to track them, you can do that through a portfolio. Does that make sense? So again, you have to go to edit portfolio, and then you type in your number of shares, the amount you paid, the purchase date. If you want to add notes, you can add notes. And then if you're in the portfolio view, you'll see that position. This is valuable for those that, let's say, have an account with Schwab or Fidelity, that if you have an account with a broker that's not integrated with Medved, then you can track those stocks. Let's see. The portfolios, if you want to create, I've created, I have like a Dow 30 portfolio, so I can track the Dow 30 stocks. I have a NASDAQ 100, but you do have some limitations depending on your broker to how many symbols. To view how many symbols you have running, you would need to open up the main dashboard, which is down here, and go to sources, and I think that'll show you how many stocks you're getting quotes for currently. 59 symbols, actually 63. 63, I think, is the number currently that I have open. And you do have some limitations based on that. So like let me see if this works. If I go and I open NASDAQ 100, and I go back to my main dashboard, see, now I have 181 symbols, 177. So that's how many are running through. So I think Ally gives you access to 200. You could error out if you have too many running at one time. So you may have to close a portfolio. You know, if you have a portfolio that's got too many symbols in it, it could error out. But I closed my Dow 30, so that lowered the number. See, now it's only 153 from 183. So I'm not using as much market data now. And then again, you can create scans. to run on the different portfolios. This is my fresh arrow scan, or whatever you utilize. You can create different scans. What time period is the thumbnail chart on the tiles? Did you say it was changeable? For the when you're on the, hold on a second. So it depends on which one you're on. Okay, so if you're on one that has a little chart, you'll notice now under view, see it says chart time period. So you have choices. Those, you can have any of these preset, or you can create a custom. So if you want a 8-minute chart, you can select 8-minute. View, chart time period, 10-minute. 30-minute. Whatever you want, you can create, you can add and change those time periods. But it only appears on the ones that have the little charts. It's not going to appear on the other ones. What else? What other? We got a few minutes to go. Actually, we're almost done. Is there anything else that you guys want to see today? Any other features? Oh, I showed this briefly the other day, but volume, if you can show the volume in a separate window if you want to. You just have to go to main indicators, and then you can move volume down below the chart, and it'll put it underneath. I like it on the same chart. To me, I don't know why you would want it underneath. It takes away from your space. So I like everything on one main chart. But you can add it again, any indicator that you want. They've got plenty of them here. Holy smokes, they have a bunch of indicators. I don't want to muddle my charts up too much. I try to keep it pretty simple. Go back to my 2-chart layout. That's what I'll be using in the morning. I use this one in the morning when I start my day. Actually, that's what I prefer. That and the month. Two-chart layout. Is it possible to look at YouTube trainings if you have not yet signed up? Yes, Connie. Yeah. So if you go to equityalerts.com, at the top of the page, you'll see a YouTube link. Every day I post these videos, and we're up to, I don't even know how many now, quite a few. But yeah, you can post these videos. I mean, you can view, you don't have to be a subscriber to view the videos. And the other thing I was going to mention, that if, let's say you have a specific question, but you can't be here tomorrow for tomorrow's training, if you email me, send me an email at kipp@equity-alerts.com that says, hey, I have a question. but I can't watch tomorrow's sessions live. Will you cover this in the session? I'll cover it, and then you can watch it and record it. So I'm happy to do that too. I meant to let everybody know that. And are clear lines available to use with Forex anywhere yet? Okay, good question, Connie. So the only integrated broker that you can trade with Forex right now is Interactive Brokers, okay? Now, TD Ameritrade does give me quotes for Forex, but they're not real, they're kind of hit or miss. Hold on a second. Let me go to open a portfolio. And the symbols are kind of weird. So it's pound euro .USD. And there's, see, it's like, there we go. Oh, there we go. There's the historical chart. Let me see if I can backfill. Hold on. Backfill. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to probably go to view always. Let's go to a 10-minute. View always and main clear all. Yeah, see, there's something odd with the intraday. I can get the historical day, week, and month, but I'm not getting the intraday quotes. But here's the long, here's the week, and here's the daily. I'm just not getting. Hold on a second. Oh, you know what it is? I think I have to leave it going for it. I don't think it backfills. It has to build the quotes once I turn it on. I think that's the deal. For some reason, I think there's an issue trying to backfill the data. Backfill. Yeah, anyway, interactive brokers you can get the quotes from, but not, there's not anyone else right now, unfortunately. All right, guys. Any more questions? All right, thank you for tuning in, and have a great evening. I did record this session, so once it's done downloading and from GoToWebinar, I'll upload it to YouTube in a little bit. Have a great afternoon, and I'll see some of you guys in the webinar tomorrow. Thanks.